Hey, Squad Coach Troy here now. It is summertime, and for many of us, especially those of you in the Midwest like me, we are going to do something called going up north. And no, that doesn't necessarily mean the direction north. It just means going into the woods somewhere, whether it be camping, tenting, summer camps for the kiddos, whatever. We're gonna go somewhere in the woods. When I was younger, I loved packing up the tent and finding some extremely secluded spot and spending a few nights by the fire. Now that I'm a little older, my back does not like that so much, so no more of that for me. But I do every single summer, I rent out a cabin with me and the fam. For the last 8 years, I've been going up to the Gunflint Trail. There's a nice spot up there with a trout lake. All the fishing is great. The hiking's amazing. The weather's usually pretty good. Now, between all those activities, we need something to kill the time, right? And that's where the games come in, and that's why y'all are here to see my list of the top 5 cabin games. All right, this is not necessarily a top 5 list. It's just 5 games that I brought this year. I usually bring different ones, and there have been many times where I brought too many, or sometimes just a few, but the boxes were way too big, and they took up too much table space in that little cabin. Between me and my sister's family, there's like 7 of us who go up every year, so it does get a little tight and a little crowded. So most of the games on this list are going to be a little bit on the smaller travel side, as well as evoke kind of a theme that is conducive to being outdoors, hiking, fishing, swimming, canoeing, all that good crap. So without further ado, here we go. And our first game up goes by a few different names. Perudo, Pirate's Dice. I always called it Liar's Dice though. And this is a great cabin game for several different reasons. For one, you don't need any big box or anything, you just need a bunch of dice. So whether you bring up your own dice or you can even raid other games, looking at you, Yahtzee. Just make sure that everyone's got dice. I got my official Pirates of the Caribbean set right here, but you don't even really need that. All you need is a mug and a handful of 6-siders, and just throw them in. You're just going to take your dice, shake them up, throw it over. And there you're going to look at your dice, and whoever goes first is going to say, judging between my dice and everyone else's, I think there are 5 6s on the table. And the next person is going to say, I think there's 7 6s. And the other person can keep raising it, or they can call it. They can say, I think there's 9, or I think there's 10. It says, I think there's 11 of all the dice are on the table. And then one person's going to say, no, I don't think so. I'm calling that, you're lying. At that time, everyone's going to reveal their dice. Put out all their 6s. 1s will be wilds. If there are not 11 6s, then the person who said there was is going to lose one of their dice from the game. But if there are 11 or more, then the person who called them is going to lose one of their dice instead. Then everyone's going to take them, shake them up, and go again. And you're going to go till everyone is eliminated from the game and there's only one person remaining. Now this is a great game because, again, it doesn't take a whole lot. All you need is some dice. This might be a little bit overkill. If you got a cabin, there's most likely some mugs up there already. If you're camping, if you're tenting, then everyone usually has their little metal canteen one anyway, right? You can just use that. And you can play as many people as you have dice for. Now this game is a lot of fun. I haven't played a session where, people weren't shouting at each other, people calling it out in big moments of, oh snap. That being said, if you are at spots that do have noise curfews, especially in the tent camping grounds, you might be a little careful with that one, especially with all the shaking and rattling. But outside of that, super fun game. I love how it scales for how many players you have. I love how it doesn't take much. Again, solid game, Liar's Dice. Now in the number 4 spot, I wanted a nice card drafting set collection game. In the past, Sushi Go has been in this slot, but this year I brought up a newer game in Isle of Night. In the game of Isle of Night, you are traveling to a mysterious island that only appears at night, and you're going to see what treasures you can discover there. But really, the island is just depicted by scorecards. You collect a set matching all the symbols on these scorecards, you get those points. And depending where in the island the score set is, those are the points you get. On your turn, you're just going to draw 3 cards, place them out on the table. Any cards that are matching, you place them together. So if I had 2 butterflies like so, they will go on top of each other. Then you pick one card type, and you take all of that card type. And now, this is yours. Then the next person will go. Draw 3 cards, place them out, make sure all the sets are together, and then they're going to take all of a type of card. Now, as you're doing that, you want to collect sets because those are going to get you points. But also, there are some cards like these sea serpents, that you cannot collect unless you collect another card like a spear. And in there as well, there's going to be some cards that let you manipulate where the scoring parts of the island are. There's going to be cards that give you special powers like these land cards, and some will just be straight up points. The game is over once a certain amount of these lanterns are collected, signifying them, I guess, running out, and daylight returning to the island, making it disappear. At the end, you count up your points. Whoever's got the most wins the game. Now, I went with this one because actually my niece used to really like Sleeping Queens, and I thought this might be like an expansion off of that, so taking what was in Sleeping Queens, the set collection there, and just kind of building on it a little bit, plus having the cutesy, whimsical art that is actually pretty nice. I do like the art on the cards here. It does play up to 5 players. It can play 2, but I'm say at least have 3 if you're going to be playing. I'm not 100% sold on this one either. Sushi Go might come back, but I got to give this one a few more tries to really get a feel for it. But right now, that is my number 4, Isle of Night. And in the 3 spot, now one of the things that my better half and I really like to do is we go on hikes, nice long hikes. I guess not too long for most people, but hey, if I'm going 5 miles, that's a good hike to me. But anyway, what do we like to do after a nice long hike? We got to sit, relax. Maybe everyone else is out on the dock fishing. Maybe it'd just be the 2 of us in the cabin, and we don't want to get bothered by all of them, so we just have a little alone time. We're going to play a game about hiking. In Solstis, it is a tile-laying game where you are hiking up a mountain, and you want to get from the bottom to the top to light off some bonfires, as well as encounter all kinds of fun animal spirits. Now, in this box here, there are enough tiles to make this mountainscape. Just enough. And you and another person are going to be battling, drafting them to make a large section of mountain. At the end of the game, you are scored on your largest section of mountain that is connecting tiles. You'll also get points for if you can make a path from the bottom of the mountain to the top and light some of these little bonfire tokens. You can lay things in the mountain that are not connected to the rest, like these tiles here, but they're not going to count for any points at the end of the game. Also, another fun part about the game, when you do make a 2x2 little grid there, you'll be visited by an animal spirit. You're going to draw these little tiles here and place them in the middle, and depending on what they are, they might give you immediate effect special abilities or end of the game scoring bonuses, something like that. So that's a nice incentive to try to build chunks of area. But beware, there is one evil spirit that is going to mess you up at the end if you get stuck with it. This is another newer game. My first time bringing it up, first time playing it was actually on this camping trip as well. And I gotta say, I liked it a lot. Very simple. It's 2-player only. There is a 1-player variant, but I was not a big fan of that. So just a 2-player game, plays in about 15 minutes. And again, just nice, easy, relaxing, nothing too stressful. Perfect for a lazy day of relaxing in the cabin. But most importantly, it passed the significant other test. That's right. Monica actually requested to play this a few times. And that's huge right there. We probably played this more than anything, probably about 10, 12 times. The theme isn't super deep, but you do get the idea of hiking up the mountain, how you want to connect from bottom to the top and lighting those bonfires. And the artwork I really do like. It's just kind of a soft, gentle, relaxing forest setting and just really, really nice. Perfect for the cabin. So yeah, a new one that I'm probably going to hold on to for a little while here, and that is Solstis. Now, some of y'all might know this, but for those who don't, I used to be a park ranger. That's right, I was saving picnic baskets from Yogi the Bear. And because of that, I'm probably a little biased when I say that Parks is one of my favorite games, even though I don't think they give the Mississippi the respect it deserves. That being said, Parks is kind of a bigger game with a lot of small pieces that could be very easily lost in a cabin. With all those pieces, it is a little heavy, so it doesn't travel too well, and that's why I go with Trails. That's right, Trails is the much smaller counterpart to Parks. It plays very similarly. It's a game about pretty much hiking, collecting resources, using those resources to buy different cards, and of course, spotting birds. Now, when you are traveling up and down these trails, be sure to watch out for mountain lions. They are especially dangerous and usually don't have too many thoughts in their little orange heads. So in Trails, you will walk 1 or 2 spaces down a path and then do the action that it has on that particular card. Sometimes you'll collect resources like rocks, leaves, and acorns. Other times you'll be spending resources to take pictures that can give you points or shots of birds. Or you could trade your resources. There's also a bear token here that represents wildlife. You land on that, you roll a die, and then you can also do that particular action as well. As players reach the end of the path, you're going to flip over a tile, and that is going to represent it getting later. As it gets later, their actions on the cards become more powerful, like now you can collect 2 acorns instead of 1. Also, at the ends of the path, you can use your resources to buy different point cards. They're going to give you different points, resources, and sometimes special abilities. You're going to continue walking up and down the path until every card is flipped, and it is nighttime. Once everyone completes their turn, you're going to add up your points, and whoever has the most wins. Another way to get points is there are little pictures of birds and everything, whether they're on the photographs or sometimes on the cards, and whoever has the most of those is going to get a little bonus there. There's some other things as well. Now, I am a very, very big fan of this game. It's so small, so simple, but it packs a lot into it. I mean, it is a resource management game where you are trying to collect different cards, which sometimes give you powers, so you got to think, do I need to rush to the end to get that because I have the resources, or do I have to wait, gather more resources, and then someone might steal that card, and then I don't know what card is going to replace it. I might not be able to buy it. So the design is simple, but it plays very, very nicely. And I know I've said this 100 times, but the artwork, I love the artwork on this game. That's probably a common theme of all the games I like to bring to the cabin are games with good art. And again, this takes the game of parks and it kind of boils it down so you get that feel. You get everything that you want to get out of parks in a much smaller table presence here. The game plays 2, 3, or 4 and scales very well between them. If anything, you could actually call this like a Tiny Epic Parks game. And speaking of Tiny Epic, I would say any one of those games could easily take this spot as well. Like I got Tiny Epic Galaxies here. This game is about the same size box. And again, very similar, small production, but there's a ton of game in here. There's a little more meat on the bone than playing some of these other card drafting games. So if games about hikes are not your style, then there are other options, but for me, this game can't be beat. And lastly, for a game that isn't so much my favorite as it is one that is absolutely mandatory to play at the cabin, and that is Cribbage. Cribbage, all you need is a board and a deck of cards. It is a card game, but you are going to use this for scoring. In Cribbage, you're going to be dealt 6 cards. You're going to look at that, throw 2 from the crib, and keep 4 for yourself. Now, what scores you points in your hand are sets of 15 points, like a 10-5 or a King-5. Those are all going to get me 2 points each. You also get points for 2, 3, 4 of a kind, or runs like 9, 10, Jack, Queen. Of course, there's always going to be one random card you can score off the deck as well. Before you score your hand, though, you're going to throw a card in the middle, and your opponent is 2. You're going to go up to 21 points. If you can't go any more, then someone gets a point. And while you're doing that, someone gets 15 or a pair or a run. So after playing in the middle and getting your points there, you are then going to take your hand back and score points as well. After you do that, whoever's turn it is going to grab the middle cards, also known as the crib, and see if they got any points there. Pair of 7s. I see you judging my Johnny Bravo cards. Don't make fun, all right? This man's a national icon. Points are kept track of by moving these little notches on the board. When you score, you're going to jump over your other piece and move as many places as you have scored. You want to run around the track all the way to the back to win. So while this is a simple card game, it is the board that makes it as well. Again, these are absolutely mandatory in every single cabin. In fact, I think that's part of the schematics. First, get your base, you build your walls, you put your rafters, your beams, your roof, and then you put in your cribbage board. And this is just a simple cribbage board. They are all over the place. You can get whatever funky design you want. The most popular designs are usually whatever state you're in or whatever your favorite football team is. But that's a big part of the fun. Like, these are things that you buy as gifts for people. They pass down, and so they stay in a place that's important to you. That's a big part of cribbage, all right? The board and what it means to you and what it is. And yeah, the other part is just having the simple card game that you're playing with family in the place that you care about. This is a game that's popular no matter what your generation is, grandparents, grandchildren, everything in between. You grab a family member or whoever you want to spend time with, shuffle up a deck, and get going. And really, it's just about hanging out, having nice, pleasant conversation while playing the game. And it feels right at the cabin. So there you go. These are the games I recommend bringing to the cabin. This is what I brought this summer, and I had a lot of fun with it. Again, you don't have to bring these exact ones. You can bring whatever. In fact, let me know what you normally bring in. What are your mandatory cabin games? I'm always looking for suggestions. What did I miss? Or maybe which of these do you actually agree with me on? Anyway, this is Coach Troy. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all next time. Different Points, resources, and sometimes special abilities. All right, kitty. Oh,